In news, there are those stories that just stay with you forever. For me, it was a story that happened 20 years ago, early one March morning in Missoula. A baby's cry coming from deep inside a dumpster tucked behind a bowling alley, and in that dumpster, a newborn girl. Her core temperature just 86 degrees before she was rescued. We called her Baby Grace, and Western Montana did everything it could to support this tiny child. Well, now she's all grown up, and she would like to say thank you. Were you always aware how much Missoula loved and supported you? Never even met you, but how much you made such an impact on this town.
I have hundreds of letters and stuffed animals that I still have that are all signed from people all across the county, which is crazy because it's like, you read them and there's so much love in them.
20-year-old Nadia has scrapbooks and old news stories on DVDs about the day she was born in Missoula, March 1st, 1999. It was an unforgettable night.
Just after midnight this morning, 17-year-old Kim Maudry was walking to the Liberty Lanes bowling alley from a nearby apartment to make a phone call. Maudry told KPAX she heard crying coming from inside this trash bin. When she got closer, she heard gasping sounds.
A newborn, left to die in a dumpster, stuffed in a plastic bag, wrapped in blankets, and shoved underneath the trash.
All of the things that they did to end my life at the time actually were things that helped me survive.
There seemed to be no question as to the intent. Missoula police officer Jim Pontrelli was there that night. He still can't forget it.
No, I was just stunned that someone did that. I can't imagine it. I still think about it.
An ambulance rushed the baby to the hospital where, remarkably, she was in pretty good shape. But who was she? Who would do this to her? While detectives searched for her birth parents, this tiny 6-pound, 3-ounce abandoned newborn was inundated with love and support from the people of Western Montana.
Dear baby, if you need anything that we are able to provide, please.
Hundreds of cards and gifts, hundreds of people hoping to adopt this infant. Nadia was quickly placed with her foster family, who would later adopt her, the McCormicks of Stevensville. They instantly fell in love with this child. And from the beginning, they told her the truth about her birth.
I knew the whole thing up front. Everything, the dumpster, that I don't know my birth parents. And I think that gave me a good look at my parents and really appreciate who they are and their honesty.
It was such a miraculous situation that I felt that how can you not tell her story? I'd never wanted to feel like I had to keep this quiet.
Over the years, we respected her privacy since her birth story was so extraordinary. But I often wondered, what became of Baby Grace? So it was this March 1st, 2019, exactly 20 years to the day of that discovery in the dumpster, and I got a private message on Facebook from somebody named Nadia, none other than Baby Grace. And it was her 20th birthday. What's 20 years? Like, what was it about that day that made you reach out?
We used to have a tradition that every year on my birthday we would rewatch the old tapes that you guys sent us a while back. And we hadn't watched them in a few years, and we had just moved to Oregon, and so we were kind of like going through the phase of just wanting to watch it all again. And I just remember sitting down and being like, I don't think I've actually really thanked everybody. And it was one of those realizations where I thought, yeah, I think I'll just reach out to everybody and show my appreciation.
Hi. How are you?
She carries the love of this community with her as she makes her way through life. Donations from 20 years ago are helping to pay for college today. The case itself is still open. The birth parents never found. No answers yet as to why somebody gave birth to a baby and left her to die. If you could say anything to them, would you?
I forgave them a long time ago. Sorry. I didn't think I'd get emotional. Whatever they went through, whatever they felt that they needed to get rid of me for, that's for them to know. I don't need to know. I don't need to know who they are. I don't need to know their story. That's on them, and I'm happy.
But those were the only tears in this interview. Nadia, our baby Grace, is a wonderful, happy young woman going to college to become a nurse. She's a young woman guided by her family and her faith.
It's been a comfort to me a lot. It's not as hard for me to say, oh yeah, somebody tried to kill me when I was a baby. It's more like, you know, things happen, and I think I got the best place I could be and the best parents that I could have. So yeah, I'm just happy with it.
She was loved from the moment her tiny cries first echoed from that dumpster. It is a life to celebrate, a life that is nothing short of amazing.
God really likes to save people. He really does.
Nadia's story energized the state legislature to create a new law protecting both babies from harm and birth parents who may feel they're in a desperate situation and have no options. It's the Montana Safe Haven Law that then Governor Judy Martz signed into law in 2001. Tomorrow we'll talk to one of the lawmakers who sponsored this bill and hear how it saved a handful of children from danger.